Hey friends, welcome. February 21st, 2025. What if you were sipping coffee at your favorite cafe, scrolling through the news, and suddenly you saw him, Jesus, walking past the window, not on a church billboard, not in an old painting, but in real life, today, in Seattle. Wow. Would you recognize him? Would you stop to listen? Imagine Jesus in our modern world, not distant, not locked in history, but here, navigating our struggles, our technology, our conflicts. What would he say to the homeless man sleeping under the viaduct? How would he speak to the tech worker behind a glowing screen? What would he say to a young mother drowning in anxiety, or a student paralyzed by uncertainty? This is the journey we are on every day this year, day by day, city by city, imagining what Jesus might do if he were physically walking among us right now. Yesterday, we followed him in Portland, Oregon. Today, Jesus steps into the heart of Seattle. Before the city stirs, before the ferries cross Elliott Bay and the traffic clogs I-5, Jesus climbs to Cary Park Overlook. Here, the whole skyline stretching before him, the Space Needle, the high-rises, the deep blue waters beyond. He kneels in prayer. He prays for the lonely man in a penthouse apartment who has wealth but no peace, for the young woman in Capitol Hill who battles depression behind her curated social media life, for the immigrant mother working long shifts in a restaurant kitchen, sending money home to her family, for the teenager in Rainier Beach, caught between school and the pressures of gang life, for the homeless man shivering under a damp blanket near Pioneer Square. The sun begins to rise, spilling golden light across the city, and Jesus rises with it. His feet move toward those who need him. His first stop is DESC's Navigation Center, a shelter where people living on the margins seek refuge. Inside, the fluorescent lights flicker. A few men huddle over styrofoam cups of coffee, their eyes dull with exhaustion. In the corner, a man named Greg stares at the floor, lost in thought. His beard is unkempt, his clothes stained, but it's the emptiness in his eyes that tells the real story. Jesus sits beside him. "Good morning, Greg." Greg blinks in confusion. "How do you know my name?" Jesus smiles. "I've always known you." Greg scoffs. "Yeah, then you know I'm a nobody, a washed-up veteran. Been on these streets too long to matter." Jesus leans in. "Greg, your story isn't over. You are not forgotten. The Father sees you." Greg's hands tremble. He hasn't cried in years, but now something cracks inside him. He nods just once. Jesus helps him get a fresh set of clothes. He introduces him to a caseworker who can connect him with housing assistance. Hope, the smallest flicker, but real. And as Greg steps into the shower for the first time in weeks, he whispers to himself, "Maybe I do matter." By now, the city is alive. Jesus walks into Pike Place Market, where fishmongers throw salmon, flower vendors arrange bright bouquets, and tourists snap photos near the neon sign. A street musician plays guitar near the gum wall, his raspy voice filling the air with a song of heartbreak. People toss coins into his open guitar case, but no one stops to really listen. Jesus does. When the song ends, Jesus steps forward. "That was beautiful," he says. The musician shrugs. "Just trying to make enough to get by." Jesus tilts his head. Music isn't just survival, it's a gift. Use it to bring hope, not just sorrow. The musician hesitates, then asks, "Do you really think people need hope?" Jesus nods and says, "More than anything." From the market, Jesus walks to Amazon's corporate headquarters in South Lake Union. Inside, the atmosphere is sleek and efficient. Employees work from standing desks, typing at lightning speed. Conversations revolve around stocks, product launches, and the next big innovation. He stops at a cafe where a young programmer named Lucas sits hunched over his laptop, eyes bloodshot from too many late nights. Jesus slides into the seat across from him. "Lucas, what are you building?" Lucas blinks. A more personalized online shopping algorithm." Jesus nods. "And what are you building with your life?" Lucas is caught off guard. I don't know." "Success isn't just what you create with your hands, Lucas. It's what you create with your heart. What are you pouring your soul into?" asks Jesus. The words hit deep. Long after Jesus leaves, Lucas stares at his screen, suddenly unsure if he's been chasing the right things. At Seattle's Children's Hospital, parents pace the hallways, their hearts heavy with worry. In one room, a mother named Sarah sits beside her 6-year-old son, Elijah, who is fighting leukemia. His little body is weak, his spirit even weaker. Jesus steps in. Sarah's eyes look up, filled with exhaustion. "Who are you?" Jesus kneels beside Elijah's bed and takes his small hand and says, "Someone who cares." Sarah watches, skeptical, but there is something about him, something steady, something filled with peace. Jesus prays, not loudly, not for attention, but with a love so deep it seems to fill the room. He says, "Father, you formed Elijah in his mother's womb. You know his every breath. Bring him your healing, your peace, your strength." A weight lifts. The room feels different, warmer. Sarah, who hasn't prayed in years, whispers, "Amen." As the sun sets, Jesus walks along the Seattle waterfront, where the great wheel glows against the twilight sky. Near the Seattle Aquarium, a group of activists hold signs demanding justice for the poor. Nearby, a businessman in a tailored suit walks past without a glance. Jesus steps between them. "You are right to seek justice," he tells the protesters, "but justice without love becomes anger. Do not let your hearts harden." Then he turns to the businessman. "And you, do not close your heart to those in need. You have been given much. Use it to lift others, not turn away. The air is thick with silence, but something has shifted. Later, at Tullicum Place Cafe, Jesus sits at a long table with strangers, a barista, a fisherman, a college student, a mother, all different, yet all searching. He breaks bread and speaks to them plainly. True life isn't found in what you own or achieve. It is found in love, love for the Father, love for each other. Everything else fades, but love remains. They listen, they wonder. Some of them believe. Jesus climbs the Volunteer Park water tower, looking out over the city lights, and he prays. For Greg, who dared to hope again. For Lucas, questioning his purpose. For Elijah and his mother, resting in unexpected peace. For the musician, the protesters, the businessman, the wanderers, the lost. He prays for all who heard him today, that their hearts would not forget. Tomorrow, he will walk again. So, if Jesus walked among us today, would we recognize him? Well, tomorrow he will move again in another city. Where will he go? Who will he meet? Come back and let's follow him once more. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We offer a wide variety of ways to share the word. And when you join this channel, you join 440,000 believers who join us each day to listen to the word and consider, if Jesus walked among us today, where would he go? What would he do? What would he teach us? Now I'd like to say a prayer for the hopes, needs, and intentions that you hold in your heart today. So if you're ready, I'll lead. Here we go. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Amen. That was beautiful. And I want to thank you for joining me today. I look for you every single day because you matter to me. And when you're here, everything is better. Don't forget, hug your family. They love you. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Take care, friends. Have a beautiful day. See you then. Bye-bye.